Hi, I'm Rachel Lynn, and I am on a journey to get out of my student loan debt and lose some weight along the way. This is Lucy. She's on the journey with me, and if you'd like to join us on that journey, go ahead and click that red subscribe button down below. Today I am going to talk about the 6 bank accounts that I have at the 4 different banks that I have them and why I have each account. The first account that I have is the bank account that I have had maybe since high school. I've probably changed banks a couple times, but at least since college I have had this bank account and just kind of stuck with them throughout everything. I've had a savings account and then I closed a savings account, and this is where I operate most of my transactions from. A lot of the things that come out automatically come from this bank account. My direct deposits are put into this bank account, and it's just kind of where my main budget is centered around. I use this account and I disperse any money that is going to any of the other accounts and just kind of use it as a central hub. The second account that I have, I actually opened this back in 2016. I was not on my debt-free journey yet, and I still had a massive amount of student loan debt, but completely ignored my student loans at that time. And I was actually saving up to go on a trip to Europe with a friend of mine. She actually had a coupon that was like for friends to open this bank account and receive a free $150. And so I figured that's one way to get me $150 closer to my goal for traveling to Europe. So I opened that account. I actually got that money and had a great time on my trip, by the way. However, when I finished the trip, I actually still had the account. I wasn't really sure what to do with it, so I just kind of kept it open for a while and just kind of put some money over there. Most of the time it just ended up being just sitting there with maybe like $100 in there, not much, just kind of sitting around. There were no fees, there were nothing attached to that account if I didn't use it. I just made sure that, you know, I used it every once in a while so that it didn't go inactive. At the beginning of 2018, I started on my debt-free journey and started paying off my student loans by first getting out of student loan default. I actually did a video all about how I came out of default and made it through. If you want to go check that out, I will link it up here for you. What I did is I used that account to transfer money over so that they could automatically take out payments. I did not want the default people to have access to my main bank account, and the only way they would set up the rehabilitation payments is automatic payments. I don't know if there's a way to work around that if you don't have a bank account or something along those lines, but I decided to use this other account. Towards the end of 2017, before I started working on that journey, I actually saved up quite a bit of money in that account and just kind of like had used that as savings so that it wasn't in my main account and I didn't see it all the time. And so since I already had a little bit of money in there, but it wasn't the main hub for my account, I just used that one as the automatic payments for my default payments. Once all of my student loans came out of default, then what I did is I separated things. I actually have undergraduate payments that my parents are paying back for me, and then I have my graduate loan payments that I am responsible for. I am currently living at home and I pay my parents rent. Well, my student loan payment for my undergraduate loans is about what I would pay my parents for rent, and so we've cut out the middleman and I'm just paying that student loan payment while I'm living at home. Any difference in there, my parents make up for that, and we just kind of work that out between ourselves. But I just make that minimum payment. So last year in 2017, when I was a few months into my debt-free journey, I actually opened up another bank account. I ended up getting some mail from another bank saying, hey, if you open this account with us, we'll give you a free $100. And all I had to do was deposit $100 myself, and then I would get $100. And if I used their card within the first 3 months, I'd get another $100. So I took them up on that offer. I ended up getting another $200, and I just kind of had that account open up until I finished my student loan default. Once my loans were out of default and things were a little bit more calm about my student loans, and I no longer had to do automatic payments anymore, what I did is I kind of separated things. When I started my debt-free journey, I also found out about Capital One 360 accounts, where they have interest-bearing checking and savings accounts, and they have one of the highest interest-earning savings accounts around at 1%, which my other bank, if I opened a savings account through them, it's 0.01. So I felt like this was a huge deal that I just had to jump on, and by using someone's link, I actually ended up with a free $25 as a bonus. While in default, I decided not to pay anything extra on my student loans. So I was saving money that I would pay towards my student loans once they were out of default. So when I opened up the Capital One 360 accounts, I opened up 2 different savings accounts. One was a sinking fund account for upcoming expenses such as Christmas or car repairs or several other various things that might be coming up eventually. And then I also opened up another savings account that I used to just save money to pay towards my student loan debt. Once my student loans were out of default, I used all that money that I had saved, and I had saved more than $10,000, and I was able to pay off one entire loan that was a $10,000 loan completely, get rid of one student loan payment that I had to worry about. Then I only had to worry about one payment through my undergraduate loans and one payment for my graduate loans. That it was actually 6 loans in one, but it was one payment. So now here I was with several different bank accounts, and most of them I didn't really have a set purpose for. So I decided to have a purpose for each and every account and just keep things separate and organized for my money. So now I use my main bank account as the hub, like I said before. I use one of my accounts, the one that I opened back in 2016. I actually use that one for my graduate loan payments, and those come out automatically, and that saves me a little bit of interest that I have to pay back to my student loans, and it's lowered just a little bit because it is automatic payments. Then I used the one that I opened last year where I got $200. I used that account for my undergraduate loans, and that way if my parents want to put extra money in that account to pay towards that loan, then they can easily do that because that's actually at the same bank that they use their main bank account from. They actually haven't done that. They usually just give me the money personally, but you know, it's an option if we need to do that. Then for my Capital One 360 accounts, I have my sinking funds, which still has a great purpose, and within the last year or so, I have also opened a checking account with them so that I can easily transfer money, use my debit card if I need to with my checking account in order to kind of like move some money around. Otherwise, if I only had the savings accounts, then I would have to transfer it to my other banks, and that would take several days, whereas transferring it to the checking account in Capital One 360, it's available instantly. Then I also have the savings account through Capital One 360 that doesn't really have a purpose right now. I'm just saving the interest that I gain on my money from my Capital One 360 accounts, and I don't really know what to do with it. I don't know if I should just close it and just have my sinking funds, or if I should be saving separately for something else, even though I am still trying to get out of debt, or if there's another purpose that I haven't thought of yet. Now, I know that once I am completely out of debt, I do want just a general savings account where I just kind of have money there just in case. As far as my emergency fund, I actually keep my emergency fund split. I only have a $500 emergency fund. I did last year. It's kind of all over the place. I think it's not the greatest video of mine that I have done, but I did do a video about why I only have a $500 emergency fund. So I will link it up there, but just keep in mind it's not one of my best. But I keep half of my emergency fund in my Capital One 360 bank account, and I keep the other half in my main hub bank account. So those are my 6 bank accounts that I have at 4 different banks, and I'd like to know from you, do you just use one bank account? Do you have multiple accounts? Do you keep money in savings? I'm just kind of curious. So leave me a comment down below and let me know what kinds of bank accounts you have and what you use them for, if you're comfortable sharing that information. For me personally, my favorite accounts have to be the ones at Capital One 360. I love the interest rate that I get on them, and then I also get interest on my checking account. Now, it's not a 1% like the savings accounts are, but it's still interest that is earned. None of my other bank accounts that I have earn interest on my checking accounts. I think that's a pretty awesome thing to earn interest, even if it's just a little bit on that money that I have in that account. So don't forget to like this video and of course subscribe if you are not already. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.